Hey everyone, Byron here, and today we'll be talking about another thing. This will be my first bedtime chat with Byron. So, if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to subscribe, please do. If you don't want to do either, please tell me why down in the comments. And, of course, share if you want even. I'm going to start off with how some people might be viewing God. If this is not you, then don't take it personally. And if you're a Christian, oh, I'm glad to meet you. If you're non-Christian, watch this video and then tell me anything that can prove anything that I say wrong. That way, you can have your say and basically say that I'm wrong. That way, if I do believe you, you can finally tell someone the truth. And if I don't believe you, and if they're completely unreasonable, or if I'll just comment it in my next bedtime chat or something, I'll tell you. There are some of you out there that will probably view this God thing, as you might say, as just another reason to believe in some supernatural being that can do whatever you want. Close, but very, very far. See, we actually believe in him as someone who's a friend. It's kind of like your best friend has amazing power. He's himself, but he has amazing power. Imagine your best friend just being able to control the universe itself. Basically God. Yeah. Several people might not believe because they think he's just some guy up in the heavens that does whatever he wants. And many people don't believe because a loved one died. Now, if there's a God, he wouldn't promote death, suffering, and all that. Well, he never did. It's Satan that allows it. You might be thinking, well, why doesn't God just do that and kill Satan and stop all sin? Well, to tell you the truth, he never murdered anyone. He never killed anyone. Satan does, but he doesn't. It's kind of like several books out there that show different demons, angels, and other stuff that goes around and fights, like polar opposites, yin yang. Yin yang is very, very common as that saying, I guess. Basically, he loves us and wants to care for us. Satan loves us and wants to care for us in a different way. He wants to rule us, like those evil lord guys that want to conquer the world and rule it all. No, that's basically Satan, not God. He doesn't want to rule us. He wants to be our friend, like any other, like a celebrity. And if you want to be that celebrity's friend, you just go running at them. God basically does what people do to celebrities. Run at them, hug them, kiss them if they want. It's nothing like how we act nowadays. We should do what God does. Now, some people might not believe in him because of one of the reasons I've said. And if that's not you, another reason might be because he does amazing things that aren't possible. So, if they're not possible, he can't be real, right? Hello? Just because we can't do them doesn't mean it's not possible. Time traveling is impossible, right? And before, heating something up without fire was impossible. Now we use a microwave almost every day, and other forms of heating stuff up. And, other things like propelling a hard object at high velocities, or in other words, or back in those days, in other words, ooh, ugh make stick fly far fast, or rock, depending. But, no, that was impossible back then. Now we use guns. Impossible just means that we either A, haven't reached that level, or B, can't do it ever. Hello, if we can't change water into wine by adding blood, doesn't mean that it's not possible. I mean, several different creatures do things that we can't do, so does that mean that it's impossible? No, it just means that they can do what we can't. And most of the time, people want to think of themselves as superior, great beings, when really we're small, little, helpless weaklings. Even you tough guy on the other side of the screen. Ooh, I don't want to get in a fight with you. Trust me, I do not want to get in a fight with you. But, yeah, we're basically little ants, and he can stomp us whenever he wants. He could destroy all the earth and just hang out with his angels and the demons and stuff and do whatever he wants. But he doesn't. Why? I mean, he can. He could destroy all evil, have only good stuff happening, and everything would be over. And there wouldn't be any more fights, no more break-ins, no more anything bad. So why doesn't he do it? I guess it's kind of like most people. They don't want to end what they've created until it gets bad enough. He already ended the world once, a flood, and we see most of the effects in the oceans, seas, and rivers now. Probably the earth was pretty dry back then. That's why most videos of back then is this dry wasteland, basically. And Adam and Eve gave birth to 2 sons, and eventually the population grew. Why isn't the population growing anymore? Most people are actually killing their babies before they're even born. Ugh. Anyway, back to life. Sorry to say this, but we're being poisoned. Not by God, not by the devil. Okay, might be so the devil's doing, but being poisoned by most things in our food. Skip that part. That should be for another day. Like I said, this is my first one. Eventually the videos will get better. I might even start writing a script. I don't know. This is just something I do, you know? Something in my spare time. At the moment, I'm actually gonna start running a business, and I'm only 13. Craft, what's the name? If you live in Michigan or near Michigan, in Battle Creek or near Battle Creek, you might want to check it out. It's actually going to be quite a nice place in about, I don't know, a couple months, maybe a year. I don't know. I'm only just starting. I do well on crochet hooks. Like I said, I'm not very good yet. And my camera's really bad. I only have a tablet camera that records videos, and the other camera doesn't have a big enough chip, blah 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 blah. Can't record videos on it. I'm sorry. Doesn't really work out, does it? Anyway, back to the whole God thing that we were talking about to most of you. I don't disrespect you in the sense that you don't believe in God. I think that not believing in God is a fine thing. We can choose our path. It doesn't matter if you believe in him or not to me, but to him it does. If he is real to all you non-believers. He really does. You're his son, his daughter, or any of those species in between. I don't know if you're a jellyfish from the future. Jellyfish being. Anyway, get that out of my head before I get freaked out. And your head, I hope. Yeah. He loves you like a son, like a daughter. You know why? You are his son slash daughter. It's not as direct as mother, father, son, and daughter thing. It's more of a long line, like your great 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 great. Okay, multiply great by 2 million, and then put grandfather. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of branches that we came from. That's why there's so many different last names. Mine's Day. Yours could be Bryce or Coral. I don't know. Denny. The Denny's restaurant. I don't know where I got that. Maybe even just family. Your last name's Family. John Alfred Family. That actually sounds pretty nice. I'd love to be you. Anyway, back to life. He loves you because, like I said, you originate from one of his sons and daughters, Adam and Eve. He made them in his image. Well, he made Adam in his image and then basically duplicated Adam with a couple little tweaks here and there and created a woman. That's why we call them women. And if evolution was real, why do we have two different sexes if there weren't any sexes back then? It makes no sense. At least to me. I mean, if there were male and female back then why are there some that are neither male nor female, or vice versa? It doesn't make any sense that evolution would do that. It doesn't make sense that it would do something that would actually make it harder to survive. It would need both male and female to survive. That would mean it would have to have two species, two parts of the same species. And evolution wouldn't do that because it would evolve into part most female, part male, and that would just confuse everything, and that species would not exist. And our primates, monkeys, apes, so on and so forth, are a lot different. Yes, they can create drawings, tools, and other things that rely on themselves to think about what's going on and to put their thoughts into actions, and they're smart enough to do that. But so are many other animals. Tigers and other animals can't do what monkeys can, but that's probably mostly because they have different types of hands. And things that have a lower IQ don't really have a lower IQ. They're just specifically used. Their brains are used for different reasons. Instead of daydreaming, they think of different strategies to catch food, and so on and so forth, like with fish. Cats, like the 16 that I have at my house, do not worry, I cannot get sick now because of the cats. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway, back to life. The cats can do amazing things. And they can problem solve. That's something that us humans can do. That might be why part of us believes in the evolution. Now, evolution is real. Specific animals changing this little bit to survive in these certain situations. And humans don't do that as much because they can live in every situation. But that's part of why there's black and white skins. And any other skin out there that you are or are not. Sorry, itching my nose. Gotta get that out. Anyway, back to life. They can problem solve and do all that. They can do complex thinking. And they even understand most of the English language by studying us. That's how come babies can learn to talk before they can learn to read or do anything else. Even before they go to school. And they can learn to read before they go to school. They can even learn to write before they go to kindergarten. Why, you may ask? Because they study us. And most animals study humans so that they can either A, attack them and make them their meal, yummy, or to do something like us. Since we seem to have different ways of living, however we're still alive, can fascinate several animals that study us, learn what we do, and try to mimic it. Cats, however, are more independent than dogs. And animals that live around us do try to mimic us. Like cats. Sometimes, if you look on funny cat videos or something, you can see a cat standing on two legs on a sofa, if you watch the specific ones. And that cat, standing on two legs, is trying to mimic a human, wondering why they do this. It's not natural for the body to do that. They aren't programmed to do that. Your DNA does predict who you are, but that can be changed by influences in your life, such as you meeting someone. Now, if you were in a blank room with nothing there since you were born, your DNA would only affect how you live in that white box. Nothing would really change from the DNA. Nothing would really change except what the DNA is already programmed into you. If you hear something that completely destroys the programming, see, it doesn't mimic our life. And actually, this might sound funny, but God is a funny guy. He played a joke on scientists and other researchers that study marine life. Or is it just animal life? I don't know. I don't know what the others classified as. A duck-billed platypus. Now, most people might think that this is just a random glitch in evolution. But why would a platypus have a duck bill? And why would a platypus lay eggs? It's like it's in its own category. They don't know what to call it. Mammal? Amphibian? What? Basically, God played a little trick on the scientists, knowing that they would try so hard to think of a reason that God wouldn't exist, because, well, eventually sin would come into the world. He knew that. So, he played a little trick on the scientists, the duck-billed platypus. Basically, it's its own subcategory, which is quite interesting, I must say. So, if he would do that, that must mean that he's a funny guy. He must have some sense of humor to do something like that. I mean, if he was this all-powerful being that doesn't really care what happens to us, that would mean that he would probably eliminate us. Or there's choice B, where he only cares a certain amount about us. Or only wants us to believe in him because that gives him power, control. If he just wanted us to believe in him, and he was the all-powerful God that is described in the Bible, wouldn't he be showing us more signs every single day? Then our standards would go up. That, we would think, is the natural. There would be no supernatural. What, you might say? Our standards wouldn't go up. That would be amazing. But even when he showed his power, people back then still didn't believe that he was the one true God, that he was a powerful being. He sent flames from the heavens. This word probably spread pretty fast, but people still didn't believe in him? Huh? What? How is this possible, you might say? If someone lived through word of a plant bursting into flames and yet not actually burning up, a sea turning red, children being abducted, I guess is the right word, and so much more, you would probably expect this type of thing to happen every once in a while, or you'd probably think like, oh, it must be a meteor, and that would be a logical explanation nowadays. Back then, that wasn't. And they would say, oh, a perfectly timed meteor. He must know what was going on. Wait a minute. Fire coming from the heavens is classified as a meteor, even though, yes, it probably would catch on fire coming through the atmosphere, and probably light any wood on fire. Why would it go in a specific spot at a specific time? And in the Bible, it wouldn't record a large rock with flames around it. It says fire fell from the sky. Fire. Actual fire. The stuff that burns you up fell from the sky. What? That would not be possible back then by any means. And the chances of that happening is 1 in infinity. 1 in infinity. Unless there was something controlling it. Now, humans back then could not control it. And I mean, not even a tiny possibility. Humans back then didn't have the means to send fire from the sky, which is, I must say, pretty amazing. And they didn't even have the means to make it look like there was fire from the sky. So there must be a God, right? Now you might be thinking, oh, that's just the Bible talking. But I've seen it happen in my life. No, not fire falling from the sky, but I must say that would be pretty cool if I saw that in my life. I'm talking about signs that God is real, signs that God can do things, can manipulate life. Like almost every single time we're trapped somewhere because we don't actually own a car, we mostly use the bus or some other means of transportation. Either A, a friend, B, somebody my mom knows from a long time ago, or C, a bus driver or somebody like that, somebody who just wants to help out, comes up and I figure out that they can get us home. And they take us home. And almost every time. Only twice did that not happen. Now you might be saying, oh, of course, that's just someone helping out. But it was like one in a crowd. One in a crowd. That's like 1 in a million people would do that. How is that possible if only twice that didn't happen out of the, 30 times that I've been trapped somewhere with my mom or dad? What? You might be saying, oh, there's just enough people that can happen. Oh, wait. Every single time except twice? What? That makes no sense. It would make more sense if only twice it happened. I might brush that off as, oh, that's not God. That must be just people being nice. But it's happened so many times. The logic of it, the thinking that goes through the possibilities of what would cause this. And it's not 3 people saying, oh, you want to ride home? I can take you home. It's 1 person, or maybe 2. Once, I think, I've seen 2 people actually want to give me a ride home with my mom or dad when we were trapped. But that's such a low count. When you get trapped somewhere and you want to ride home, it's hard to get home, isn't it? I mean, usually when you're trapped somewhere, it's too far to walk, or you're too tired to walk that far. But these people offered rides home. And, like, once has it happened that he offered me a ride home when I didn't need it. He or she, whoever it was. Those odds of this amount happening to me are so amazing. 1 in so many people would do that. It's not like 5 people out of, 20 will offer to bring me home. It's 1 out of that 20 in that group. Those odds are amazing. And usually, yes, it is a friend of my mom. My mom's friend. Or somebody we know from our many journeys around, which are actually not very many journeys, and we don't know many people from that. Most of them are just friends of my mom, or one time it was a bus driver that my mom almost knows every single bus driver because we take the bus everywhere. And it's eco-friendly because even though we don't own a car. It's amazing the odds of all this happening. And yet, it's confusing. This can't happen with an external force. Not just this force that lives inside all of us, that we want to do the right thing. Now that's probably an angel just fighting one of those demons inside of us, right? Am I right? Now I'm sorry that I talked old school. That was really uncalled for. But if there's 1 in that large crowd, 1 in that large crowd that's my mom's friend. Okay, so yeah, you might say, oh, your mom's friends are a lot like your mom. But why would 1 bus driver end up in a Walmart that we were at one time when my mom was getting drugs? She has some issues. That's part of why I would like you to subscribe and all that good stuff. I might leave a link to her channel. She's going to do video games for a living now. basically, because of ads on YouTube and stuff that can bring in money, and enough money can earn her safety, I guess. Yeah. We were picking up drugs, and I was looking out for a bus, and the bus went by as my mom was finally getting the drugs. The prescriptions, not drugs, prescriptions. Medicine, yeah, that stuff. She finally got her medicine, and the bus went by. I was like, oh no, what are we gonna do now? I was outside, just about to go back in, when the bus driver showed up. Someone who was off the bus route. She wasn't actually driving a bus at the time. She just happened to be at that Walmart getting supplies, probably, after she was done with her bus route. And she was in a normal car, not a bus. And I'm like, hi, how are you? Yes, I'm going in. And she was like, hey, don't I know you? Because I ride like every bus eventually. And I'm like, you seem familiar. And I'm like, do you know my mom? Because that's like the logical answer if somebody knows me. If somebody thinks I look familiar, I ask, do you know Tammy Day? She's like, she sounds familiar. She's my mom, blah, blah, blah. We're stuck here getting my mom's medicine. She's like, hey, I'll bring you a ride home. And I'm like, oh, thank you. But she showed up at almost the exact time that the bus was getting there. Now, those odds are amazing. I'm outside, and she probably would have never met us if I hadn't been outside at that exact time. What? She might never have met us. We might never have gotten a ride home that day. We might have had to walk, which puts a lot of pressure on my mom and me. And we probably would have had aches when we got home. So, what? This type of thing happens so often. People either leave or come at the exact time that I find out, or we're starting to have the problem. Isn't that amazing odds? It's like, oh, she has a problem. Here, go help her. Wow. God probably sees far into the future and knows everything. But I think he enjoys helping us, even though he knows that he can help us and that's going to happen. He probably knows the worst future, because in the future he doesn't do anything, because he's only seeing into the future. His actions don't actually do anything in the future. He can't actually see that because there's only the here and now. But because of the programming of the DNA, it's kind of like a bunch of monsters, let's just say, going around in a video game. It's self-based video game. Nobody's actually controlling the monsters. They're all AI. And they go around and do blah blah blah. But someone could affect the monster. But first, they run the program, see what all the other monsters do. Then when they control their monster, they completely change the timeline. You're probably like, what? This makes little sense. Basically, what I'm saying is, the here and now is happening. But because God put DNA in us, the genetic code for our entire body, he knows what's going to happen when, where, and how. But without his interference, because he isn't at that time yet. That's the most logical answer. That's why we have these miracles. She probably went, oh, I'm hungry. What should I eat? My refrigerator is almost full. Empty, I mean. My refrigerator is almost empty. Maybe I should go to the store and get something. Goes to the store, and God made her hungry at that time, and made her get only so much food last time. You're probably thinking, what? God can make us do stuff? Yes and no. He gives us desires and wants, and doesn't. Most of them are from Satan, because he wants to make us do stuff that's evil, like steal an Xbox 360, which I have, that I did not steal. My parents paid all the money for it. And things similar. But God gives us desires, wants, and desires as well. Basically meaning that he controls us in his own way. It's kind of like if you add something to your monster, he gets stronger and more powerful, or weaker in certain areas, or your tank, or whatever you play, and then you use that monster. Now let's say that monster had an AI, and you can only control the basic things like the physical appearance. You can add special attacks to them. And similar to that, he controls us, but he doesn't control us. He controls our wants, desires, and needs. And he can control our appearance, what happens to us, and if someone dies in our life, as tests. No, he's not like GLaDOS, not even the slightest. Okay, he's the slightest. He does tests to see if we still believe in him. And usually he kills people that the time is already coming. He doesn't really kill them, he lets them die. It's kind of like you are giving this person life points in a video game, and they keep on hurting worse and worse. Ow, why the pain? Just let me die already. Okay. Basically, he's letting the pain stop. Now, we are ourselves. They say demon possessed. More like demon, what's the word? Demon hurt. Demon controlled. Demon glitched. We are all a little bit of a glitch. We have that little issue in our programming. That want and desire to do, get this, evil. Satan made Eve bite into that apple. She wasn't supposed to. The first crime was committed. The first ever crime. Now you might be thinking, biting into an apple? Okay, it might not have been an apple, but it was a fruit. A fruit. She bit into a fruit. Okay, why is that bad? God told her not to. So, when God told her not to, and she directly disobeyed him, she sinned. She did something wrong. She didn't know right from wrong back then. She only knew desires, wants, and non-desires, and non-wants. You might be thinking, how is that possible? We know right from wrong, but we have that passed down. It's kind of like getting your mom's eyes or your dad's nose type thing, but it's bad instead of good. Our knowledge of right and wrong makes it easier for us to do right. But with Satan being able to influence us, because that's how it happened, we are able to do evil just as easily as we are able to do good. Usually, good is rewarded, but bad isn't. Usually, we have good things when we do good, bad things when we do bad. That's kind of programmed into us. If someone does bad to you, you think of it as something evil and disgusting. Yet when you do the same to someone else, it feels good in some ways. Feels easy. Irrelevant if they're another human being with a different soul. You might be thinking, huh? What? Most of the time you can only feel what you're feeling, not what someone else feels like. However, God knows how you feel. God knows how everyone feels. Now, I'm not trying to make you feel nervous or uncomfortable, but I'm more trying to make you feel like you know him better. And you should know him better. Most people nowadays are, let's just say, confused about what's happening, more or less. I, on the other hand, just want to be a good friend, doing the right thing. And to tell you the truth, that's all I ever want to be. I've had this knack for helping people. My nickname is Helper Guy. I mean, come on. Really? My nickname was given to me by my mom and dad, too. That's an amazing name, and I love it. Love it to death. Okay, I guess that's the wrong words. But, as I was saying, God doesn't want to hurt you. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to feel joy. Not happiness, joy. G-O-Y. Joy. No, not that happy, friendly little thing from Up. That little Twinkle Toes guy. No, gal. I don't even know if they have actual sexes. Actual relations. Just that little Twinkle Toes main character, main person, that basically is the happiness. Joy and happiness, as we think of them, are the same, but they're not. Joy isn't happiness, though they can be the same at some times. Joy isn't happiness most of the time. Joy is doing what's right and feeling good about it. I didn't say feeling happy, I said feeling good. You can give away your house, everything you have except for the basic needs like food and water and shelter. And feel good, happy, maybe not. Good, yes. You might be able to feel good because you gave it to a good cause. If you gave it to a bad cause, that might be a whole nother story. If you gave it to a good cause, though, you feel good. You feel good inside, right? Right? Unless you've never done anything good in your entire life, which just sorry for you, bro. I'm sorry. But that feeling is so uplifting. You feel like you've accomplished something in life. you feel like you've taken that next step even though you don't see the whole staircase. And yes, I'm quoting someone that I don't know the name of. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. Who was Franklin? Benjamin Franklin? No, that's not right. The junior guy? Oh, I'm horrible with names, I'm sorry. Yeah, that helps. Yeah. The thing is, joy is basically that good feeling inside of you, not happiness. Happiness is a whole nother story. She's basically the joy from inside out. Happiness is basically the joy from inside out. Joy is not joy, if you get that little pun I just made. In other words, joy is happiness. Joy is joy, not happiness. I'm sorry, I got confused there. Though they can be intertwined into one single strand of twine. See what I did there? They can be at the same point. Like, I'm happy to get that old thing away, but you feel that joy because you gave it that old thing, so-called, to a worthy cause. You feel both joy and happiness. Happiness to finally get rid of that old thing, and joy because you gave it to a worthy cause. You might be thinking, what? I guess I feel that way sometimes. Yeah, you might feel that way sometimes. That's probably a bad thing. You should feel that way most of the time. Anyway, back to the lifeness. We're really out of time. We've been recording for 47 minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Please, leave in the comments what you want me to do next, and anything that I had miscovered and you think is something that can make God not exist. And don't give me that Big Bang Theory stuff, because that's impossible. Part of it is because of that evolution, Big Bang, and part of it is because of the fact that the gravitational force it wouldn't exist because there would be no matter there, and also the energy to create that Big Bang. Where did it come from? It says there was no energy before that, so there has to be energy to create energy. Where did the energy to create that energy come from? Huh? Another Big Bang, you might say? What? Hold on. So you're saying there was no energy, but the cycle keeps repeating with there being no energy, and then there being energy, and then there being no energy. Wait, what? No energy goes to energy? What? It says you can't create or destroy matter or energy. Don't give me that stuff, please. And don't give me anything that sounds absolutely stupid in your mind, because it probably is absolutely stupid. Unless it sounds really, really, really amazing, but stupid. It sounds believable, at least. Please give me believable stuff. And also, give me something to do next time so I don't keep on going off track in that direction, and all of those other directions that are known to mankind. Please give me something to do. This night chat with Byron was probably the worst one I've ever done. Ever will do. Unless I do a random compile of just things. I think I'll do that once every 2 months, so you won't have to endure too much. But when enough people comment on a certain thing, the most comments will either A, get in, or B, be mentioned because it's inappropriate. I do not want any banned language or anything else on this site. And or it's just something that someone commented. And please comment on comments. That way I know what discussions are. And that way I can think about what other people are saying. And please, any Christians out there, comment on the disregards that I have no clue about. Comment on things like the quantum physics of matter. Things that I probably can't do since I'm only 13. Though I do know a lot, I don't know everything. Bye. See you next time. Please like, comment, subscribe. Do anything else you want down below. And I hope to see you again. I really hope to see you again. This is probably going to be my worst video ever. Unless I'm doing other videos that are going to be my first time and I'm going to be absolutely horrible about. Yeah, I'm not very good at talking. Bye. See you next time. See you next time. Byron Day, signing out. And the boom.